Hello everyone! Welcome to our 12 o'clock noon lunch with Rusty and Miriam. We're going to give y'all a few minutes to get online and join us live. It is the mission's 40th birthday. Happy birthday to the mission.
Yay!
So today we just wanted to hop on here and chat with you all and Miss Miriam and Miss Rusty, who have both been here for quite a while. But my name is Becca. I'm the creative marketing specialist here at the mission. I've only been here for a little less than a year. And here with me I have Miss Rusty. She has been here for going on 18 years. And then we also have Miss Miriam here on the end. She's been here for almost 20 years. So, ladies, thank you for joining me today. And, yeah, I can't believe y'all have been here for almost half the time that the mission has been around. So, Miss Rusty, I wanted to ask you about, because I know you've been involved with planning events in the past and our women's shelter before it moved to its new location. So tell us some of the cool stories that you have. What are some things that you remember?
Well, when I did events, I recall back in the earlier times, we were supposed to do a Thanksgiving meal, and we didn't have enough turkeys, and so we were kind of scrambling around trying to figure out what we were going to do, what we were going to fix in the meal instead. And then at the last minute, like 3 days before the day of the banquet, 50 turkeys were donated from a local organization. And I mean, that was like way more than what we needed. So that was pretty cool. That was really cool to see that happen.
50 turkeys?
50 turkeys.
Where did we put all of those?
We cooked a lot of them.
Because I know we didn't have like our giant freezer outside, so
yeah, back then
wow.
we didn't. We had a little tiny walk-in. Actually, I don't even think it was a walk-in. It was more like a reach-in.
Oh my
back then.
gosh!
But we cooked a lot of them, and then we froze what we could so we could use it at another time.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Wow.
Another time at an event, it was a Christmas Eve banquet,
Yeah.
and we had planned ahead, and I thought I had enough volunteers, and then people started calling and saying, well, we're gonna have to cancel, we've got this going on, that, and I'm thinking, how are we gonna serve all of these folks? Because we actually serve like a restaurant style. They sit at a table, and we have volunteers bring them their meals and that kind of thing. And I'm thinking, how are we going to do this? Because, man, we don't have enough volunteers. Well, as I'm stressing over where are we going to get all these volunteers, people started showing up and saying, I didn't call, I didn't make arrangements ahead of time to be a volunteer, but, man, do you have something I can do? By the time it was all said and done, we had more than enough volunteers,
Wow.
and everybody was served exactly like it needed to happen. So that was really cool too, because then our clients actually got to experience not only being served their meal, not having to go through a line, but the volunteers were so cool to sit down with them and just love on them and ask them about their families and that kind of thing. It was really cool. That was really cool.
Yeah, I'm sure that meant a lot to them. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
2 big holidays, and everything just came together at the last minute.
Yeah.
So I also know our building is very old. It was built in the 1920s.
Mm-hmm.
What are some things that you've seen over the years, maybe that are a little funny, or like, something about the
Well, I'm just really thankful in where we are today based on where we were before. Our building is old, but we have been able to update. And back before we were able to update, the men's dorm was so crowded, and it was really not that welcoming as far as the dorm was concerned. But God has provided so well for this ministry, and because of donors, we've been able to build a beautiful dorm for the men where there's plenty of room. And the beds are new. They're not, just what we could ever put together to get somebody in. Over the years, I have seen the women women's center, which I used to run also at one point, go from a very crowded 5-room place to a beautiful facility now where we can house double what we housed back then.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the men. We're able to house double what we housed back then.
Wow.
So yeah, it was pretty cool to see the changes in the ministry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. Wow. So over the 40 years, we've been able to double our capacity. That's
yes, we have.
awesome.
And we have a state-of-the-art kitchen, which is
Yeah.
amazing. Because I remember the kitchen, how tiny it was
And
before.
isn't that how the mission kind of started out, was as like a soup kitchen first?
I believe
Or-
it was somewhat of a soup kitchen, but also a place to get the men off of the street. Because originally when we started, it was just men.
Okay.
And Miss Miriam would be able to tell more about that because she knew more about that part of it than me. I can say when I first started here, I think my first week here, Miriam and I and and another lady were all in one office because we just didn't have the abilities back then to be spread out like we are now. And I remember sitting there, and this is my first time in full-time ministry. I had worked in secular environment before. And I kept hearing, she sat behind me, and I kept hearing this whispering sound. I'm thinking, what is she doing? Who is she talking to? And I turn around, and I actually see her praying over the stack of mail, the stack of donations. That just spoke to me so greatly. And she was praying and thanking God is what she was doing. She was thanking God for those donations. And it just really touched my heart. That's just a favorite memory of mine from when I very first started here.
Yeah, and that just shows you all with your donations and your support over the past 40 years, with Miss Miriam praying over them, that we've been able to be blessed immeasurably more than we could ask or imagine. So going off of that, Miss Miriam, tell us about what you've seen with like the growth with the donors, our donor base, and then Miss Miriam's also a prankster, you guys. So she has some funny stories to share. So let's start with the donors. What have you seen? How have you seen the mission grow with that?
Well, when I started out in 2001, I'm not sure how many donors that we actually had, but definitely it was a very small amount of donors. We did have a great support system from churches, local churches, which was great. But over the years, I have seen the donors be added more to this ministry, and I think that for me, as I used to process the checks on a daily basis, what would just touch my heart would be when I could look at the checks and I could see and I could tell by the checks the donors almost, it's kind of interesting, but I could almost see their heart for this ministry. And I guess my favorite donor of all time is a lady that faithfully, I guess I think if I remember right, probably for 15 years or so, she faithfully donated $3 a month to this ministry.
Wow.
Miss Mimi, and she's my favorite. In fact, actually, I keep her last check that we received, I keep on my desk just to keep me humble and to remind me that this ministry is here because people have so faithfully given their sacrifice, many of them, or their donations to this ministry, whether it was $20 or $3 or $100. And those are the things that I treasure as I am in the position of the finance, to see how God has absolutely blessed this ministry. Nothing that we've all done our jobs, but it's God who has blessed this
That's right.
ministry through our donors and through the local support of this community. And I am so very grateful. I tell our director, Michael Woods, remind him faithfully too, that we cannot forget to thank God
Right.
for
Amen.
what He's done.
That's right.
And you know, through the years, it's been difficult. We've had some very difficult days. We've had a lot of difficult days with when the roof was leaking and our offices, we got more water in our offices than we had outside. Those were difficult days. But God took care of that for us. Difficult days was when we would invest in clients and they would make a decision to go out. And we knew that by them leaving, it was not good. And those were difficult days. But yet the good times were when we seen men and women stay the course and they graduate or they move on. And I think of one who a client that just recently passed away and how he came to this ministry and God changed his life, and he went on to get married and have also serve in the ministry and with another organization. And those are things that I treasure in my heart, and so thankful to God that He allowed me to serve here at this ministry. When I came, I thought maybe 10 years, and now here I'm going on 20.
Woohoo!
And as long as God lets me and Michael lets me, I don't know when I'm going to retire. But I am so honored and privileged to work with great co-workers like Rusty and the other co-workers that God has blessed us with. I am so grateful and that God lets me be a part of this. And to Him be the honor and the glory. Now, we've also had some fun times. Let me tell you.
Let's do the funnies, Miss Miriam.
You know, from filling a co-worker's office with balloons and to celebrating Rusty's birthday, you know, with a walker and all the stuff. And I felt that it was so important for this ministry that we also have the fun times, because that keeps us grounded in a lot of ways. So I'm the jokester and I love it, and I'm still here, but I count it a privilege here to be a part of this ministry.
Well, ladies, those were great stories. I loved hearing you. I know Facebook, if you're watching this later, we thank you for sticking it through with us. And we have one more thing to do, because I love birthdays, and it's a big milestone today. So we're going to light these candles on this cake. Disclaimer, we will not be eating it because COVID is still a thing. But we just wanted to sing happy birthday to the mission.
That's right.
So
All right.
I'm going to light if I can get it.
No pressure.
See, some wax already dripped on the cake. Definitely not going to eat it. All right. Chat, if you are still on here, please join us in singing happy birthday. Post in the comments just a simple happy birthday or happy anniversary. You could even put in the comments too, like what your favorite memory has been of the mission over the past 40 years, whether you've seen it for that long or if you're a fairly new donor, whoever you are, join us in singing happy birthday. So here we go. Are y'all ready?
Yeah,
We're ready.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday